Hello everybody, I'm Krasi, and today I will talk about the great twins on the sky, the Gemini. I will talk about them from the perspective of the ancient Babylonian astrology mythology being the most ancient. And as you know, the fixed Babylonian sidereal zodiac is the anatomy of the sky. It would say that everything that is depicted on this particular sidereal zodiac, which is very close to the Vedic zodiac, typically sidereal zodiac, is really the anatomy of the sky. These are the real coordinates which we would see on the sky. So it is real depiction of the reality, purely astronomically. So the more we know about certain fixed star constellation in relation to the mythology, the more we will know how to analyze them in the horoscope, and we will have depth and we will have information on many levels, which will of course be very, very useful, and you will see that. Now, the two great twins, the Gemini on the sky, were very, very, very important in ancient Babylon. Even now, of course, the two stars which represent the two twins. I will share my screen in a second with you. The two stars are Castor and Pollux. Before I share my screen with you, just to tell you. Now, these two stars are very, very bright, very near, very visible, especially now from the northern hemisphere in the spring. Both are brilliantly, brilliantly visible. And they are called also Castor, who has the color of blue-white color, which is usually associated to the spiritual stars. So Castor is having very high magnitude of 1 to 1.6 and is the 23rd brightest star on the sky. Well, of course, this is just according to the modern astronomy, but it's still a sign on the visibility of the star. And it is called Alpha Geminorum, and Beta Geminorum will be Pollux. So before I show you interesting pictures on my screen, just to tell you that according to Hermes, Castor, and we will talk about them in relation to the mythology, but first just to give you an overview. Castor, who is one of the two Geminis, two twins, is having the nature of the combination of the conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury. So don't forget, we're having here nature of conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury. And then we're having Pollux, which is the second, also very, very bright star of a magnitude approximately 1.2, which is bright visible magnitude, has a red color, very Martian, and of course naturally it has also the nature of Mars. So look, here we have the two Gemini, the two great twins. We are having Castor, this is Alpha Geminorum, and we are having here Pollux, the two twins. And naturally, like usually twins brothers are, they have nothing in common. And understanding of their nature will help you understand your chart. And you, if you're an astrologer, the charts of many other people. So these are the two Gemini. Now let's go to very, very ancient times of Babylon, of Mesopotamia, approximately like 4,000 years BC, there was a king, Gilgamesh, and this is the very famous cuneiform tablet of the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is right now in the British Museum. So this is the tablet of approximately 3,000 years BC, and there was Gilgamesh and Enkidu, and Gilgamesh was a king of Ur, and he was 2/3 God, 1/3 human. And I will show you now a bit more. So look at this very, very ancient depiction of Gilgamesh and Enkidu. We have Gilgamesh, who is Pollux, who is the Martian star, the star which is having the nature of Mars, the red star, which is Beta Geminorum, So this is Gilgamesh, who is God, 2/3 God, and we're having the second Gemini, the second twin, which is Enkidu. And I will tell you a bit about them. But first, let me tell you who is Pollux, one of the twins. This is Gilgamesh. Now, he is 2/3 God and 1/3 human, and therefore he's having the horns. Typically, the horns are illustrated on every divinity who has godlike nature. Now, his father was the goddess of the ancient of the ancient bulls. Therefore, he's 2/3 God. Now, he was the king of Ur, and for a very, very long time, and he was a giant. But giants are a very common thing in the ancient world, and they did exist. So what happened is that he was very, very rude to people. He was very Martian. He would enforce every girl in the city to become his wife. He would use violence against people. And there was this moment in the story of Gilgamesh, which is available in English and you can read it. It's really fascinating. There was this moment when people were really had enough of his violent rulership. And then they asked the gods for help. And the gods created Enkidu. And Enkidu means in Akkadian, the son of Enki. So he was created from mud and water. And he was sent to defeat Gilgamesh. He was wild and pure. And this is the second, this is Enkidu. Enkidu has, as we remember, the nature of Jupiter and Mercury. So he was very pure. He was innocent. He would be fed by the milk of the goats in the nature. He was really, really very innocent until the moment when he was introduced to the human habits through a prostitute. So, and then he was sent to Gilgamesh to defeat him. And what happened is that they became the best friends, like brothers. So, these are the twins, Gilgamesh and Enkidu. You see, Gilgamesh is very, very Martian, always depicted with in erection. And he is having these horns. Now, Enkidu was human. He has nothing to do with the godlike origins. So what happened is that they actually became closer than brothers. And Gilgamesh was very, very sad that one day he will lose his brother Enkidu, and this is also what happened. And Gilgamesh was in search for eternal life, and so on, the story goes. And also, meeting Enkidu, Gilgamesh became a very good person, and he was not violent anymore. So this is basically in the most important 2-3 sentences from the whole myth of Enkidu and Gilgamesh, just to give you illustration of the nature of the two stars in the sky, which are the most representative stars with very high magnitude and visibility, the stars of the great twins. So what we have here is one of the twins, Gilgamesh, who is Martian, but still he became very good, and he regretted for his violent behavior towards the citizens. And then we're having Enkidu, who was very spiritual, who was very pure, and who was also very innocent. What happened here, very interestingly, is that they too needed to defeat the giant Humbaba. And Enkidu was helping Gilgamesh. So this is another part of the story. But what happened here is on the course of their route towards the cedar forest in order to find Humbaba, what happened here, interestingly, that they would perform amazing ancient rituals in order to receive dreams, which would foretell them what to do. So they were also very spiritual, both of them, and very knowledgeable. And let's not forget that the mother of Gilgamesh was the goddess of the wild Taurus, Ninsun is the mother, the wild bulls. Also, what happened is that at one point, the gods would send Gilgamesh. Actually, Gilgamesh had, and it is depicted in this small painting, Gilgamesh needed to defeat the celestial bull because he wouldn't agree to become husband of Inanna, Ishtar, of Venus. This is not the most important in this particular case. Everything is important, but in our particular case, it's interesting to understand the nature of two Gemini so that we can use this in order to analyze horoscopes. So we're having the two wise Gemini brothers. One of them is very Martian, but still regretted, had remorses for his violent actions, and was also a giant, had knowledge of the esoterics occultism. Keep in mind, this is important when you will see Pollux with the Martian nature, which would be conjunct, for example, with the moon in someone's horoscope. Keep in mind that even if this person will be very Martian, can be also impulsive. Keep in mind that he or she will also be very esoteric, most probably would know things, most probably will be intuitive, will be interested in secret sciences, and would have interest in ancient rituals. So this is what actually happened, is that Gilgamesh would do rituals, and the whole story of Gilgamesh is made in such a way that their tour towards their aim would show exactly the movements of the solstices and the equinoxes. So this would say that the ancients were great astronomers and astrologers, and they would have knowledge of the true positions of the equinoxes and the solstices. So this is very important. But apart from this, let's see again the natures of the two stars. So imagine in the chart, someone would have on the ascendant, and here I will tell you the exact degrees. Now, of course, before I explain you where you should search for the star in the horoscope so that you can make use of them, and how to make use of them apart from having knowledge on their nature, which I just explained you based on the ancient Mesopotamian mythology. Just to tell you that here, very important are the sidereal, the astronomical positions, the astronomical degrees, because, as I told you, these astronomical degrees are the real anatomy of the sky, anatomy of the zodiac. They would really give you the picture of what the nature, what the image of the star is. So look, for example, at Castor. Castor, to summarize, has a nature of conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury. Castor naturally will be in the 26th degree of Gemini, according to Hermes, 26 degrees Gemini. If you would decide to use tropical zodiac, fine, you will still find Castor, but then it will be in Cancer, and Castor basically has nothing to do with Cancer, and his nature and his energies, the real energies, will be diluted, literally. So 20 degrees Cancer will be the position of Castor if you will be looking at tropical zodiac. So I wouldn't advise this. And then you have in Pollux, and Pollux again has nature of Mars and is in the 29th degrees of Gemini. This is the position of Pollux. If you would opt for the tropical zodiac, which would again dilute the nature of Pollux, because imagine Martian star in the 24 degrees of Cancer, which is only projection of the reality. It is typically diluted energy. To me, this is not working. But however, you can still find Pollux in the tropical zodiac in the 24 degrees of Cancer. So when you know their positions, according to the sidereal astronomical zodiac, this will be 26 degrees for Castor, Gemini, and 29 degrees for Pollux, Gemini. So when you know their positions, when are these two twins influencing our horoscopes? According to Hermes, there are also 5 key positions where we should search for these stars. And of course, this is exact. Here we're talking about exact conjunctions, really exact conjunctions. Orbs wouldn't play a role. So take exact conjunction with the rising sign, with the ascendant, sun, moon. Then you can look at mid-heaven, also descendant. You can also, by the way, look if they will be projected on the horizon. But very, very important, they would be conjunct with your ascendant, moon, sun, mid-heaven. Now, I wouldn't look at the lower meridian. Now, if this star, if you want to have the pure and really not diluted influences of these stars, they shouldn't have aspects. They shouldn't be aspected by any other planet. By any planet. Aspects would mean the common aspects in astrology that you know. So imagine that you are having ascendant 29th degree Gemini, and there naturally you will be having, of course, Pollux rising. But if you are having, say, Mars squaring in exact degree Pollux, your ascendant, certainly this would change the nature of Pollux and it would make it even more Martian. So this is just to give you an idea on how to search and how to make use from these stars. Well, you will see how powerfully really they influence the native or you or people's horoscopes. So Castor and Pollux, the great twins, the 2 Gemini. So I hope this was useful, and I see that people ask me often for the fixed stars, and I will talk about more fixed stars, but these 2 are so bright and so interesting and visible right now on the sky. So I thought just now I should tell you about them so that you look now when it is spring in the northern hemisphere, so that you see them now as they're as they're bright. So you should see Pollux a bit red, actually not a bit, and Castor will be blue-white. This is how you should see them. So with this I conclude. Thank you for your attention.